Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to talk about how in Spider-Man 3, which is a lot of people will admit that is potentially the worst or the weakest Spider-Man film in the Sam Raimi trilogy, and I'll be honest, it probably is. I mean, it's my favorite just for the emo Peter dancing in the street. I mean, I love that scene. I'm sorry. That's the only reason, the main reason why Spider-Man 3 is my favorite. I know I'm cheesy. I know. I'm just waiting for the hate comments. But, you know, in Spider-Man 3, Mary Jane nearly wasn't going to be the love interest of Peter Parker, apparently. It was going to be a different one. I haven't read this article yet, but I'm guessing from what I'm seeing from this article, just from the article's headline, which is Spider-Man 3 Final Battle nearly switched Mary Jane with another classic glove. Makes me think, who else could they have done besides Mary Jane to be the hostage of the third film? And the only one I can think of is Gwen Stacy. Because Gwen Stacy was in Spider-Man 3. And also, I'm not saying that Peter Parker didn't have a love interest outside of Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane Watson. But since Gwen Stacy was in Spider-Man 3, logically, I'm leaning towards, okay, maybe they were planning to have Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3, which is why she was included, essentially, outside of just this mini love triangle between Peter, Eddie, her, and essentially Peter being a dick and using Gwen to just get back with Mary Jane in the bar. Anyways, let's read, shall we? The character of Spider-Man has become one of the world's most recognized superheroes, thanks to his personality, powers, and colorful group of villains. However, without movies and TV, it's unlikely Spider-Man would have reached as wide of an audience. In fact, the films offer compelling stories and crossovers to a large universe. But before Tom Holland's iteration entered the MCU, Spider-Man's first on-screen appearance was in 2002 Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi. The movie gave a solid origin and fantastic portrayals that led to a trilogy following Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. While Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 were some of the most beloved entries in the comic book movies, Spider-Man 3 was far more divisive, as it took on many conflicting factors. From films like Venom, Sandman, and New Goblin to storylines like Peter's struggle with a black suit and the reveal of Sandman killed Uncle Ben, there was a lot to unravel. Sadly, this left too many moments that felt improperly explored, and many plot points changed. A great example of this was the decision to initially have Gwen Stacy be the kidnapping victim of Venom, only to be switched to Mary Jane Watson. So Gwen Stacy nearly took Mary Jane's place, which I kind of figured that's where they were leaning towards. Again, outside of outside of Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy has usually been the Peter Parker's love interest that I'm the most familiar with. So it's no surprise that they were going to lean on her, especially with how that's the only Spider-Man movie she was in. So it makes sense that they were. If Mary Jane wasn't going to be the hostage, then Gwen Stacy was. Anyways, Gwen Stacy nearly took Mary Jane's place. In Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson struggled because her life was rough and after losing the lead role in a play. On the other hand, Peter had reached a new height in his life as a civilian and Spider-Man. However, the tension eventually led to the two breaking up, and because Peter was influenced by the symbiote, he chose to date Gwen Stacy in retaliation. In the end, that his anger got the best of him when he struck Mary Jane and left her and Gwen, so he removed the black suit. But at this moment, Eddie Brock gained the suit, becoming Venom, and he used his newfound power to kidnap and lure in Mary Jane. Most of the finales of Spider-Man 3's initial version remained the same, except for the switch of Gwen being the one taken by Venom. Ironically, the initial choice felt clear from the start to Peter's struggle, and the appearance of Gwen showed that Peter was in a transition phase where he may date Gwen. As a result, her being the kidnapped victim served as a way to establish a new status quo. But even though Mary Jane's presence fit the tried and true traditions of Spider-Man saving her, it shifted the focus and begged the question of why Gwen was in the movie. Love triangle. And love triangle. Like, admittedly he did save Gwen earlier from the crane scene, but love triangle. And some people are gonna be mad at me, but let's be real with the internet. I'm used to people be mad at me for dumb shit. Anyways, so here's my theory. Gwen Stacy's appearance in Spider-Man 3 was just essentially serve as a love triangle, essentially, between him, like Gwen, Peter, and Eddie. And as like a last ditch effort to get Mary Jane back by making her jealous. Now, of course, I don't agree with Peter's decision to do that, because he essentially used Gwen, and that was a very dick move on his part, and you can say that he had the black suit on that convinced him that was a good idea, sure, but still, nevertheless, black suit or red and blue suit, that was a dick move. But that's my theory. It was a way to cause a love triangle, and her purpose was used to be a tool in making MJ jealous. So there's that. Including Gwen Stacy would have greatly changed Spider-Man 3's ending. Gwen's inclusion in Spider-Man 3 offered the promise to fans that eventually she would experience a tragic end in the hands of Spider-Man's villains. With a new Goblin in the mix, it lent itself even more to a notion that Gwen may not survive the movie, or at the very least in a sequel. Yeah, because there are rumors that there would have been a Spider-Man 4 that Sam Raimi was planning to make a Spider-Man 4. And I actually did make a video that should be out by now about how now a Spider-Man 4 is a possibility with Sam Raimi being at the helm. But instead her life was spared, and she wasn't in danger throughout the movie, and even though she could have been the one in the trilogy most tragic deaths. Who knows? If they do make a Spider-Man 4, I'll even pin half that video being that little clip that shows around here towards the end of the video, so if you guys want to check that out, you guys can. But I think there's you can have okay, maybe MJ and Gwen are on cool terms, Peter's still with MJ, and Peter and Gwen are best friends. Have her get killed off. It wouldn't it may have the same effect as if they were dating, but I think it still would make a big effect, especially how you write it, how you writing Gwen Stacy's involvement, how you writing Mary Jane's involvement, how you writing Peter's involvement, because that could also make the cause some jealousy between from MJ, causing her to temporarily leave him. Girlfriend of the year, right? Because she pushed him through hell. And when Gwen Stacy's death came, maybe MJ said, "I'm sorry, Peter. I should have. I know I like got jealous. I'm sorry for your loss." And maybe either like Peter forgives her, was the more likely route with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or Peter tells Mary Jane to go fuck herself after those allegations. One of those two. Anyways, let's go. Gwen and Peter shared an innocent friendship as he tutored her in college, but when it was revealed that she was dating Eddie, Peter's rival, it was clear she was meant to be an antithesis of Mary Jane. When Eddie saw that Peter was taking Gwen on a date, it gave him, a man already hitting rock bottom, a reason to act out in anger. With Venom, he would realize Peter was the source of his losses, and it would force him to lash out and take Gwen. Being that he saw those two were dating, as a result, it would set up a perfect ending where Peter could try to save her and potentially fail, as he had saved her earlier in the movie already. But even still, if Gwen had remained, it would have left Mary Jane and Peter in a much stranger place. To focus on Gwen would mean that Mary Jane wouldn't have any room in the movie already, stacked with many characters and plot lines. As a result, it could have left her high and dry as she would be concerned for the safety of her friends and unable to do anything. Plus, with Peter having hit her before the fight, she would have no reason to want to pay him any attention. It's made even more prominent because she got manipulated by Harry to leave Peter, leaving her with confusing emotions such as anger and sadness. Had Gwen been included in the finale, her character would have boosted, but to the detriment of Mary Jane, who had been there since the beginning of the trilogy. And that's true. But I know some people might rather have had that ending because Mary Jane in the trilogy was kind of a bitch to Peter. Let's be real. So keeping Mary Jane was a smart move, but it had a cost. Ultimately, keeping Mary Jane in the finale was a smart move, as with it being the last entry in the trilogy, served as a testament to the love she had for Peter. Even when the two were at their lowest, they still found a way back to one another's and weren't afraid to face those faults head on to grow. Plus, with Eddie knowing all the Peter secrets, he knew that he loved Mary Jane more than anything, making her the target all the more logical. It also served as a chance for Mary Jane to see that Peter wasn't himself because of the black suit, and it confirmed that he didn't hurt her on purpose and was just as much a victim as her. Where Mary Jane's inclusion worked for Spider-Man 3 came at a major loss to Gwen Stacy's characterization. Her presence was severely lessened as a result of the switch, and it forced her into a side character status rather than the source of a love triangle. In a way, I feel like she was still used as a love triangle between her, Peter, and Eddie, in a way, for at least a little bit. And then essentially, like, her, Mary Jane, and Peter, even if it was like for like 5 seconds of film, I still think that love triangle was like somewhat there. But I see what they mean. It also failed to showcase that many layers of her character, as she was more than someone to date Eddie and Peter. In the end, it was the promise of what Gwen represented that made her stand out in Spider-Man 3. But without a major inclusion of her in the plot, her erasure from the finale served as a detriment to her character arc. And I can see where they're coming from. And I have to actually say that, yeah, I have to be on their side about that. And I think like sure it might have sucked not seeing that love thing connection between Peter and Gwen. I feel like that's probably why one Amazing Spider-Man rolled around. They had Gwen Stacy be the love interest because they probably caught on to that. Um, but seeing how they're like any hopes for Spider-Man 4 at that time has been crushed, and now like because of the whole like multiverse saga in the MCU, we can explore both Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3. I think I don't know. We could get a fourth Spider-Man movie. Is my point. I don't know, but like, what would be the story? What would be the drive of doing it? Like making a Spider-Man 4 outside of hey, we just want to see more Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Guys, yeah, I would be up to see more Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, but I want there has to be a reason other than us just want to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. There has to be a good reason to bring him back. Like there was a good reason to bring him back and Andrew Garfield into the No Way Home movie. So that said, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow mutants later.